worse than Honduras, worse than Afghanistan, and these are cities within the United States, Democrat-run, radical left-run. You see what's going on in Seattle. You see what's going on in other places. Seattle, of all places, who would even think that's possible? 20 out of 20. The Democrats want to weaken very substantially our law enforcement and our police. And frankly, they want to defund largely, at least largely. There are some that want to defund and abolish our police, if you can believe that. And we're not letting that happen. So if nothing happens with it, it's one of those things. We have different philosophies. They want open borders. They want sanctuary cities. We don't.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we're going to take a look at the latest new Q posts. Q is updating us on the battle against the deep state and exposing their criminal corruption, plus another major Q proof through President Trump's latest speech. And we're going to take a look at a bunch of other breaking news stories that matter to you as the liberal leftist rage mobs continue to terrorize major U.S. cities. We're going to talk about stories that matter for your freedom and your liberty. So stick around and check that out and a whole lot more. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I'm your host, Craig. You guys know I like to start. I say thanks to everyone who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done it, please come here, click the bell, then select all so you get notified as soon as all of these videos get posted here on this channel. Now, also stick around because at the end we do a segment called God's Grace is Greater, and today we're going to talk about a call to holy living and what that looks like, because in such tumultuous times where there's so much adversity and conflict, it's very important to remind yourself what it means to live in a holy way as we are called to by God and through Jesus and the Holy Spirit. So I hope you guys stick around for that at the end. Before we get into that, though, we always go over the Q boards, pick up right where we left off. Of course, we left off at Q post 4523, which is right here, and we're picking up at 4524. We have a lot of information to get through, so we'll jump right into it. Before we do that, one more thing though, reminder, this video is brought to you in part by Brave Browser. If you want to support the channel and get a great product for free, use the link in the description today to download, install, and run the Brave Browser. It'll replace whatever internet browser you're using now, whether it's Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, or Safari, and it works on both Mac, Linux, and Windows, and it works on your desktop, laptop, or smart device, smartphone. So you can download it for free using the link in the description. That way they know I sent you, and they'll make a contribution to this channel, so it's a win-win. You get a great product, an internet browser that blocks the ads and makes your internet experience that much better, and they'll make a contribution to this channel. So definitely go check out the Brave Browser today. Now, let's get into the latest Q posts. Here we are. We're starting off at 4524, and the first thing we get is a post from T-Dog that's not there anymore. So, as usual, with Twitter nowadays, nothing's very reliable. This tweet was either deleted by the user and or the user or something happened and it was taken away. But luckily, I saw the tweet as soon as it was posted originally, and it said basically President Trump was confirming the Q post, right? And it because we remember, right? A few videos ago, Q gave us this post. It was post number 4494 where it said this. It gave us a tweet by President Trump that said, rigged 2020 election, millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our times. And then, very next thing Q says is this about the virus of the election? Manipulated polls meant to legitimize rigged election results. Quote, the election was not rigged. All the polls demonstrated Biden's clear lead across the country. Example, what happens if China successfully duplicates, clones, select ballots, battleground states? What happens if coordination exists with select states to deliver printing and paper ballot recipes, secrets to select foreign adversaries? Nothing to lose, logical thinking, Q. So these people are desperate. They know they have nothing to lose because the alternative is President Trump continuing to expose their global criminal enterprise that they've been enriching themselves with and hurting many people in the process, and also hurting the American people at large through their lies and corruption and complete disdain for freedom and liberty. But this is what Q was telling us before. That's what this tweet was about. And then it was referencing a speech President Trump gave where he basically says the exact same thing. So you had President Trump's tweet, then Q's explaining how it was coming from China. Then you have President Trump reiterating that, and we're going to talk about that in the next post, that China is the one who's going to be printing up the ballots. And I'll show you what I mean by that when we go back here to the post. Q says to that Twitter post that is not there anymore, saying, "Good catch, coincidence? Important people understand for future events, assumption or intel based, all assets foreign and domestic deployed, Democrat plus China equals 11.3 Q." So 11.3, November 3rd. That is the November 3rd, 2020. That's when we are voting for the next president of the United States of America. Correct? So connecting the Democrat Party to China is obvious if you look at what was happening with Hussein and the shadow presidency, where he's following Trump around Asia and making deals behind closed doors, saying, look, if you just outweight President Trump, we'll get Biden in, and then he'll give you the sweetheart deals that you had before, and you can continue to undermine the strength of our military. You can continue to sow the seeds of communism through Marxism and socialism into our society and culture at large. You can continue to steal all of our intellectual property. You can continue to infiltrate all of our major Ivy League universities and steal our intelligence that way, our actual higher education institutional information and knowledge. That is what they want. And China always plays the long game. You guys got to remember, I mean, China is not talking about a 4-year election. They're looking 400 years down the line. And if you don't believe me, China's been around for a very long time. A lot longer than the United States of America, by the way. So we're up against powers that have been around for quite long globally and have seen empires rise and fall. So this is a very important, critical moment in the future, for the future of our country, given our own political class has been captured by foreign influence and through greed and corruption have been blackmailed by who knows how many intelligence agencies, and these people are selling us out. They are not representing us. They will lie to your face, and I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican. I've seen them both do it on a regular basis. Right now, it seems the Republicans are only chance to save this republic because Democrats have been fully infiltrated by communists, Marxists, socialists, anarchists who really want to destroy this country, who want to start, a Mao type revolution in this country, who want to have an actual uprising and a revolution where they overthrow law and order. I mean, look at what happened in I think it was in Minneapolis just recently. So Minneapolis, the city council votes to defund the police, right? And I hate to get on a little tangent here, but this is very important. So they vote to defund the police, they get rid of the police, and then they just decided that they want to replace the police with private security. So you're trading in this scenario, you're trading in police and the Constitution for private corporate security, or PMC, like private military contractors, and a corporate charter. Did you vote on the corporate charter? Is there a law? Does Congress pass the corporate charter's intents? And no. So this is what they're trying to do because they understand they've broken every law. They're completely compromised. They want to sell us out to the Chinese. They want to destroy this country. They've joined hand in hand. There's a red-green alliance, right? Look at what happened. You had the Muslim Brotherhood and the Democrat Socialists, which are basically just communist Marxists who want to bring communism. So they had the collapse of the Berlin Wall, which was the feigning of defeat in Russia's terms to infiltrate the West with a bunch of ideologically, driven communists, Marxists. They call themselves democratic socialists now, but it's just a lie. It's not a real term. It really just means communists. And then you have the Muslim Brotherhood, the Clintons infiltrating, and through Hussein's administration and al-Walid bin Talal and all of that, right? So you have this dual attack on America, trying to destroy it from within. They don't want to come at us with bombs and with tanks and soldiers because they know we beat them. We have the capability to destroy them, but they want to destroy us from within. And the fake news lie to you every day because they're in the pocket of the people who are helping to facilitate this overthrow. And you have the corporate big tech companies who could care less about America, freedom, liberty, the Bill of Rights, your personal freedoms, because they can buy their freedom. They have billions of dollars. You think Susan Wojcicki cares about you? You think that Sergey Brin and Larry Page, when they were working at Google, care about you? You think Eric Schmidt cares about you, the former head of Google? Do you think that Jack Dorsey gives two flips about you and your conservative Christian values? No. They're rich. They don't care. They are at war with you. They are censoring you. They are trying to suppress your speech, and they're trying to affect political change in this country using their massive systems that we help them establish. So you have to understand these people are not only psychotic and evil, but they are genuinely trying to overthrow the republic that we know today. The country that we have today, they want to deconstruct it, implode it into itself so that then it can be replaced by a strong arm authoritarianism like communism or some sort of socialist, Venezuela type, banana republic. So this is beyond just China putting ballots. It's a global strategy to destroy America, and nobody wants to talk about it. But here we are. So the next one, I'm going to play this clip. This is President Trump talking about exactly what we just were referring to. The clip here where he talks about China basically influencing our election by printing these fake ballots.
Looking forward to your second term.
Thank you.
The big concern I've got is how are you going to make sure that the election is fair and free from fraudulent absentee votes and mail-in ballots? That's the concern I've got.
I think it's the most important question I'll be asked because it's a great question. So now we have a mail-in thing. And you see California, he's sending out millions and millions of ballots. Where are they going? Where aren't they going? Is the postman going to hand them out? Are they going to take them out of the mailboxes? The other thing, Mark, it's very important. You get to foreign countries, they keep talking, Russia, China, this, especially China. Not Russia, especially China. Are they going to print millions of ballots using the exact same paper, using the exact same machines? And are they going to print ballots and then hand them in? And all of a sudden, it's the biggest risk we have. The mail-in ballot, and not so much the absentee ballot, because an absentee, like I'm in the White House and I have to vote in Florida, et cetera, et cetera. You're absentee, it's okay. But people go through a process for that. It's really pretty good. But the mail-in ballots, they mail them to anybody. And they send them out by the millions. I think I read over 30 million ballots are going to be sent out in California. Where are they going? Nobody's standing there watching you vote. At least the other way, you get in line, and they're using, I said the other day, we went through World War I and we voted. We went through World War II and we voted. And now we have a virus. And by that time, it'll be less and less. Why aren't we going to vote? People want to vote. But it would be nice to be able to see the people. And on top of that, they should have ID voting.
Absolutely.
Okay? We should have ID ballots.
Absolutely.
Great question.
So there you saw President Trump laying it out. What if China does print up a bunch of these ballots and then send them over there? Are they going to get the recipe on how to do the exact copy of the paper and the printing and everything from corrupt Democrats here in America or Republicans? Who knows, right? And is that going to happen? Okay, well, we can ask the question, right? Still America, as I recall. The next post here is reminding us of this older Q post from a few days ago where it says that we have to stay on these platforms like Twitter and Facebook, even though they're censoring us, right? And we have a mission. We have to dispute their propaganda. We have to support each other. We have to guide others who are just waking up to all of this. We have to learn to kind of digitally camouflage ourselves by having secondary accounts, etc. And also, we have to identify the strengths and weaknesses of these organizations and then exploit them and relentlessly. Why? Because they're using their power to censor us. They're using their power to take away our civil liberties. They're using their power to affect political outcomes in this country for no other reason than they believe that they are both above the law and the Constitution, but they also believe that you are and I are morally inferior to them, that they are morally superior to us, that they are the arbiters of truth, they are the arbiters of morality, and they're going to tell us how society is going to be, not the other way around. So it's top-down tyranny, corporate tyranny, that's trying to affect political outcomes in our country. And this is you have these idiots running through the streets, smashing buildings, and they don't even realize that they're just the useful idiots of these more nefarious actors like these Facebook and social media individuals who really don't care about our freedoms. I can't stress that enough. They only care about their power and how much money they have and how they're going to protect themselves from what's coming, which we know is justice and an equal single tier justice system, equality of justice. So the next post here gives us Julie Carrier status, and she protected her tweets, of course. She's some Oakland. She's in California, of course, writing for The Guardian. And what's her latest piece, though? This is what Q wants us to look at. Her latest piece about QAnon. Here she is, Julia Carey Wong in Oakland, California, writing for The Guardian. What's The Guardian? It's the British version of the Daily Beast, I guess, would be a good way for me to put it. But The Guardian did an investigation on QAnon on Facebook, and their numbers are growing. And so they basically just the same gaslighting stuff here, where they talk about how, it's all a bunch of deranged conspiracy theorists and how, there's recruitment and amplification. And so we have to shut down free speech. And ultimately, these people are totalitarian fascists who don't believe in civil liberties or civil rights. They believe in, authoritarianism. Because look at what happens in communist China, right? What do? They control the internet. They control the flow of information. They tell you what you can and can't say. They disappear things out of existence that they don't agree with or don't like. So, look, they're trying to ban it. They're trying to purge it. They're trying to kick us off. You can read through this article if you want. It's full of a bunch of, garbage, propaganda, and disinformation. So you're more than welcome to go look at it. And ultimately, these people are calling for the censorship and the removal of the First Amendment because they're so stupid that they don't understand that words don't hurt people. They think that words are violence, therefore you can ban it, and that, freedom of expression outweighs freedom of speech, and those are two different things. If you look at the European model versus the U.S. Freedom of speech model, in Europe, it's freedom of expression. So if your words are supposedly keeping other people from expressing themselves openly, then you can be silenced. But that's not how freedom of speech works in America. We let everyone get their ideas out, even these morons who call for the censorship of our free speech. So, yeah. And they just want to keep gaslighting us and writing these fake news articles. But anyway, let's see what Q has to say about it. Q says, daily attacks are normal, but what are the odds this particular hit regarding Facebook censorship push comes the next day? Think Battlefield and Missions, The Guardian, Information Warfare, Q. So The Guardian, obviously, is guarding the elites, or whatever you want to call them, deep state. They're not really that elite, as President Trump points out regularly, but they are trying to guard against you being able to control the information that you see. They want to feed you the narrative they need you to believe so that they can remain in power. And if that's not enslavement, I don't know what is. This is information warfare, and they're very acutely aware of that. That's why they put this stuff out there. So Q's saying is that he puts this post up giving us the 5 steps to our mission on how to become digital soldiers and fight this battle online. And the next day, they're calling to rip us off Facebook. Coincidence? No. The next one here is President Trump and Q's tweets, or Q's post. So President Trump tweets and Q posted, and they almost got a 0 delta, meaning they almost had the post at the exact same time, which we've been trying for quite some time. That means that they're basically posting at the exact same time, and just more proofs of Q, basically. So it says 3 seconds, Dan is to blame, Q. That means this post went up 3 seconds before President Trump's tweet was put out. So, I mean, this to me is more of a proof almost than a 0 delta, because it shows that President Trump is tweeting at the exact same moment, almost to the second, that Q is posting. So there is a coordination there, and that's just another proof of Q, but nobody wants to talk about it, so that's fine. The next one here is Oracle Exec. This is one of the guys who was in the oath video from last video, where I showed you everybody taking the oath online. He did that then he got cued, and then he got cued again because he was thanking Q. He's saying, wow, I can't believe I got cued. This is so real. Q, it's an honor. I'm excited to serve my country in any capacity, anytime, any day, twice on Sunday. America is the best country in the world. I love all my fellow countrymen and Anons worldwide. Thank you, where we go and we go all. Q Army, QAnon. Yeah, totally awesome. Thank you, Patriot. We are with you. We're with each other on this for sure. It says the honor is ours. Nice meeting you. So that was a picture of him in the White House too. So, you know, the fake news won't tell you this is 100% real. This guy is getting reposted by Q, and he's been in the White House. You know, look, it is what it is. The next one here is a Twitter post from the House GOP where it talks about this. These governors are withholding information from the public, and House Dems are letting them get away with it with their partisan refusal to join our investigation. This is from Steve Scalise, right? And it says Republicans are now demanding answers from Dem governors about their disastrous nursing home orders. And then it gives this write-up where it talks about the deadly nursing home orders and the House Republicans who will want an Attorney General probe into this. And we talked about this on the Q boards, right? Third-degree murder, negligent homicide, whatever you want to call it, where these Democrat governors had the guidance from the White House, from the Trump administration, and the guidance from the CDC that said, look, you can put these people in nursing homes if the nursing homes are prepared to limit the spread of transmission according to the CDC guidelines. Well, these Democrat governors went out and wrote orders to go beyond that order from the CDC and the Trump administration to say that all nursing homes must accept COVID-positive patients, which ended up costing thousands and thousands of lives. So they negligently created an order to cause more death. Why? Because they needed it to keep the shutdown going for politics. It's all it is. That's all this is, people. It's politics. These people are sick and deranged, and they are willing to put your health and safety at risk so that they can maintain power and avoid being caught in their corruption and lies. So Q says, did orders violate government-mandated policies? Would a jury of peers agree their actions were reckless? Would a jury of peers agree their actions were negligent? These are important questions for a legal proceeding. It says here, Q gives us a post to Cornell Law talking about suits against state officials. And in this document that Q points us to, there's a portion that Q wants us to read, and it's a quote from right here. It says, quote, the immunity of a state from suit has long been held not to extend to actions against the state officials for damages arising out of willful and negligent disregard of state laws. The reach of the rule is evident in Shure v. Rhodes, in which the court held that plaintiffs were not barred by the 11th Amendment or other immunity doctrines from suing the governor and other officials of a state alleging that they deprived plaintiffs of federal rights under color of state law and seeking damages when it was clear that plaintiffs were seeking to impose individual and personal liability on the officials. There was no executive immunity from suit. The court held, rather, the immunity of state officials is qualified and varies according to the scope of discretion and responsibilities of the particular office and the circumstances existing at the time the challenged action was taken. So, look, long story short, these people are not immune from lawsuits from the families of people whose parents and grandparents were killed by these negligent orders that were given by governors who didn't care about anything other than their political standing. So that to me is negligent homicide, and I would pursue it fully, and I hope Congress opens investigations, and I hope we come after each and every one of these people. The next one here gives us a link to this Twitter account. This is the Enoch Twitter. Enoch is always doing great work over here, but Q just points to them because they are highlighting every single one of these oath videos, and I've been trying my best to like and share as many as I can. But if you guys want to do something cool, watch. Just come over here to Enoch's page, and every video that they repost, just hit like, hit retweet. Hit like, hit retweet. We got to help each other out, and we have to share this and spread this far and wide, because we need millions of digital soldiers across this country to take this oath and to stand up for the Constitution, because we are fighting for our freedom. We're fighting for our republic against evil that knows nothing other than totalitarian control. So they just want to control us and make us submit to them. That's why they want us to kneel. That's why they want us to bow. That's why they want us to wear face masks and be subservient. Remember that. It's like that video of Mark Zuckerberg when he's walking around the room and all those people have the AI goggles on, and he's the only one walking around the room without the AI goggles on, because he's not going to go into that world. He controls the people in that world. It's the same thing, guys. So go show Enoch some love, give them a follow, and reshare their stuff. And I'm very thankful and proud that they follow me too here on Twitter. So that's cool. The next thing Q says, rising to the occasion, understanding what's at stake. God bless each and every one of you. We will not fail. Where we go, and we go all Q. The next one here gives us this tweet that we are meant to look at of another person taking the oath. Thank you for your contribution, Steph. And Q says the next few weeks will demonstrate our resolve. Where we go, and we go all. Then the next post says, as the darkness falls, so does our enemies. Then somebody says, is that a grammar mistake? So it should be, so do our enemies, because do is plural, or because enemies is plural, and do, it should be do instead of does. Q says, ES, make mistakes to you are roadmaps to others. Q. So ES, if you guys haven't been following, is Eric Schmidt. He used to be the head of Google, and he stepped down as soon as the Las Vegas shooting happened. And Q wanted us to look at the Las Vegas shooting and say, you know, what was that? Was that a part of a distraction? But more importantly, Q's been pointing us to the fact that the Gmail drafts, right? This is how they were communicating. This is how the deep state communicated with the authoritarian globalists who were trying to undermine and destroy America from within, right? They were involved in wet work, which is meaning it's like a term for assassination, human trafficking, sharing of ICE border patrol classified intel schedules to safeguard so they could, you know, smuggle things where they needed to get their kids and drugs and guns into the country or out of the country as they needed to exit and entrance. It says sharing of FBI classified intel to safeguard private ops. So these people were leaking private intel to probably the cartels who were working for them. You know, remember how Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Nancy Pelosi tell us how great you know, these criminals are, and how, you know, MS-13 are just, you know, really nice guys. Sharing of DOJ where we stand investigations, guide to overcome dismiss. So were they actually giving information to people like Epstein and others on how to, you know, avoid prosecution, transferring money to leftist organizations? Do you guys not remember when Q pointed out to us that the DOJ had established that corporations could defer their payments from the government to approved other charities that were basically just leftist organizations? So a corporation gets caught, you know, let's just say dumping some chemical in a lake that they shouldn't, right? They get found out by the DOJ. They get prosecuted by the DOJ. They agree to pay a fine to the DOJ, and then the DOJ diverts that money from the government to some left-wing organization like the Open Foundation or Black Lives Matter or something. I'm just using those examples. I'm not saying those are the organizations that received it, but these leftist organizations, maybe who knows what, right? But did they have off-the-book meetings, play dates, stand-down orders? I mean, this is insanity. They infiltrated our country. Muslim Brotherhood, cross-coordination with UK assets, the SIS, this secret intelligence service in the UK. I don't know. Look, it says, why did Eric Schmidt make public NSA classified tools? Well, that's Edward Snowden in this case. But I don't know if it's Edward Schmidt or Eric Schmidt or Edward Snowden. We've had this conversation before. ES is usually meant to say at Eric Schmidt, but it could also be Edward Snowden. But the same thing applies. It's what Q's telling us is coming, saying mistakes are roadmaps. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. You know, Edward Snowden, that's a whole nother story. He stole all that. He was really working for the clowns, a CIA agent who infiltrated the NSA to steal all their surveillance data, to blind the NSA so that the Obama cartel could work with global other cartels, crime, organized crime, and global adversarial governments who are seeking to destroy our country so they could have their communication systems. I mean, Edward Snowden basically helped blind the NSA to the communications that were secretly taking place through these classified Gmail servers that were set up in North Korea. There's a lot of information. You guys you gotta trust me on this. There is some nefarious stuff happening here. And the next post Q gives us is this one right here, which is Makir saying, understand why the entire Elnock account and not a single tweet was tagged in QAnon drop. And it just means because exactly what I said. Enoch was pointing out all the people taking the oath and retweeting them. So it's a simple thing to do, but it's important nonetheless. So that's basically it for this episode. We're going to cover a lot of other stuff coming up here. A few more things, though, before we go. Just want to quickly touch on this. We have, people coming out now. Everyone's a doctor on Twitter. And I guess the top Constitution doesn't apply anymore, because I was kicked out of a CVS for not wearing a face mask because I said, I don't want to wear a face mask. I said, who says? They said, it's the government. I said, okay, well, I'll take my chances with the China plague. And they kicked me out. This lady gets mad because she's got a breathing problem. And I just think to myself, where in the Constitution does it say that state governments can force us to do things that are detrimental to our personal safety and health? And where is it really that a major corporate grocery chain can force us to disclose our information, medical information, to cashiers and stockers in order to enter their premises? These people are going to get sued into oblivion, I hope. I pray they do, and I hope they all go out of business. And I hope all these people who are shaming people for not wearing masks are just embarrassed one day when they look back and see how crazy they all were wearing masks and acting like the end of the world was tomorrow. As Dick Cheney tells us to wear a mask. I mean, you see what I responded with. That's why I had to show this today, because that was on the cover here, and I just thought, yeah, real men wear masks. It should say real old warmongers wear masks. But yeah. So just thought I'd cover those things, and those are important, but we'll cover more in the next episode. So that's going to be it. A few more things before we go. Watch these videos, share them, leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. Also, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget you can find me over on Twitter at JustInformYou. I'm also on Twitter at informed_news, and you can find me on Parlor at JustInformedTalk. Plus, I'm on BitChute.com/JustInformedTalk is the backup channel, and JustInformedNews.com is the official website, so go check that out. If you want to make a contribution, there's a monthly donation through this crowdfunding website you can make here on patreon.com/justinformedtalk. Links will be in the description. I also have a website, a GoFundMe set up if you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation. You guys keep this channel alive. I couldn't do it without your support, so thank you. Now, before we go, we do a segment called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. Today, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're going to talk about a call to holy living, and I'm going to read out of 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 17 through 21. It says, "And if you address as Father the one who judges impartially based on each one's work, you are to conduct yourselves in reverence during this time of temporary residence, for you know that you were redeemed from your empty way of life, inherited from the fathers, not with perishable things like silver or gold, but with the precious blood of Christ, like that of a lamb without defect or blemish. He was destined before the foundation of the world, but was revealed at the end of the times for you, who through him are believers in God, who raised him from the dead and gave him glory, so that your faith and hope are in God." So what it's saying there, and I think what's the most important message I think we should all be able to take away from this, is that during this time, it says temporary residence here. It says during this time of temporary residence, we must have reverence for the Lord. Well, what does that mean? That means that life is temporary. Life is but a blip. As it says in the Bible, we're but a little puff of smoke. And this, to me, is why it's important that we have to refocus ourselves on Christ every day. Trust me, every system in social media and the fake news and all these propaganda outlets, all of it is meant to create anger, to make us angry at each other, to make us want to war with each other, to make us forget about what is most important, the sacrifice made on the cross for our sins, for eternal salvation in heaven with God and the Holy Spirit and Jesus. We have that great gift, and they're trying to tell us every day that the world's a bad place and that people are going to take your rights. And yeah, we're going to have to stand up. Yeah, we're going to have to go out there. Yeah, we may have to get yelled at. Yeah, we may have to put ourselves in a certain scenario where we have to stand up for what's right regardless. But we need to do it in a way that honors God. And we need to never forget that. And trust me, I'm not perfect. I get upset. All right. And I have to temper myself with scripture and prayer all the time, and meditation, and just trying to recenter myself on God. But if we keep coming back to God, we will succeed. Good will prevail. God wins in the end. Remember that. Share that with your family, friends, and loved ones. And that's my message to you. Please share that. Get that out there. This is the message we need to be putting out there above all else, because everything in this world comes to pass except our eternal salvation in heaven, which is guaranteed and bought and paid for with the blood of Christ. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Thanks for watching. Share this video, get it out there. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit it, punch it, tap it. Also hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. That's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.